What's up, everyone? Welcome to Test Your Might, the weekly video game debate show. Join Joe, Cicero, Justin, and myself, Mike, along with some special guests as we debate all things video games. If you would like to support us, please share, subscribe, and leave a review. Now, enjoy the show.
Welcome to episode 55 of Test Your Might. And
I think it's 56.
What? No,
Yeah,
it's 55.
this is 56. Yes, last week was the double nickel.
Was it?
Yeah, last week was a double nickel. This is
Are you sure?
5-6. This is the Lawrence Taylor episode.
Is the Lawrence Taylor episode?
56 Test Your Might.
Yeah, it is.
As you can hear, we've got two of our main guys here today. We've got Mike over here. How you doing today?
Doing good. Just ready to podcast. You know how it be.
Okay, and then we've got the myth, the legend over here, Cicero. How you doing today?
Yeah, say hi to your mother for me.
Welcome to Test Your Might, our weekly video debate show. We're here for you guys, and we've got a lot to cover. Number one, leave us a review if you can on the podcast of your choice. We've got
No. You know what, Justin? I'm sorry. I'm going to interrupt you here because our listeners can leave a review. So I'm gonna look you right in the eye. Leave a review.
Right.
Also, follow us on Facebook, not on Facebook, but on YouTube.
On Facebook,
we're looking to get
your grandpa. You know, your grandpa that got you.
No. This is the metaverse.
Yes, we are in the metaverse.
Follow us on Meta.
Number one in the metaverse.
All right. On YouTube, we're trying to get 100 subscribers. The button up there, hit the bell, hit the things. Make sure you're subscribed. You want to see more of our funny content from these guys.
Button up there or the button down there, guys. It's the button.
Yeah. All the things.
All the buttons and all the things on your pod catcher of choice. We've got a little bit of housekeeping. We've got a brand new episode of our parent show, the 90s First, starring Mike and myself, talking about The Mask and the Superman animated series. Go and check that out. It's on YouTube. We can link in the bio here if you'd like. Also, we're really trying to push the Patreon. Patreon.com/@the90s first. We're looking to get more patrons. Everything is just generation.
This is generational support.
Right. Well, you're going to be helping generations of video game and 90s nostalgia fans by helping us help you with great content by becoming a patron.
And also, we've been working on some things. If we get a certain number of patrons, we're going to start adding more content specific for you guys. And also, it helps with giveaways and upping our setup inside of the podcast for games to play during Test Your Might, to movies and content to absorb from the 90s First. So it really helps us out. But right now, it's all general support. Even $1 a month, you can help everyone out. So if you could do that, that'd be awesome.
Yes.
And if you enjoy the content, there's more to come. Let's jump right into it. The question of the week today. You guys ready?
Sure thing. Yeah, I'm ready.
Favorite game by a specific developer / publisher this week is Konami. So that's a big one, older one, still around. Cicero, let's hit you up first. What you got?
Thank you, because I forgot to look up Konami games.
So I thought it would be easy for you. Mike, I thought that you've already described what your favorite Konami game is. My favorite Konami game
Frogger
is one of two. Can I cheat? Because might I cheat because I'm old? So I played a lot of games. Two, because I played a lot of Konami games, and I feel like both of these games need some love.
Okay.
And they're legitimately some of my favorite games, right? They're not the best games of all time, but they're very important to me, and they're very important to gamers. So the first game that I'm going to mention is a game where something that is so classic that most people don't even know where it comes from. Like, so Madden football, right? many of the people that play Madden football right now have no idea why it's called Madden football. Right?
Mhm.
They don't know that John Madden
He's got the ball.
is a guy that actually was a coach, an NFL coach, or even an NFL announcer, right? But they just know Madden, and Madden becomes synonymous with football. This phrase that I'm going to say is synonymous with this game, but I'm sure a lot of people that are of a certain age don't even realize that, and that is up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, select and start.
Contra, baby.
And that is from Contra. Contra, seminal game. One of the first like cool co-op games, and that you and your friends could play and potentially finish, even though it was impossibly hard. Contra, an incredible game. But the other game, equally as important, but very much missed in terms of its level of importance to video game history. And this is another game that I could play with another friend, and I've spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours playing this game. And that game is a little basketball title called Double Dribble.
There you go.
Double Dribble had cutscenes when you would dunk. If you got close enough to dunk the ball, it would go into a cutscene. It had this bomb sound effect if you were shooting threes. And it was like once you were able to like crack the code in that game, the battles would be epic. And it was on the NES, which would have the tendency, and Konami games were notorious for this, for getting dust and just messing up, and the pixels would be all wild and weird. And so by the time you finished a full-length game, if you and your friends were playing one of those like marathon sessions of Double Dribble, the game would not look like anything. It would just be a bunch of pixels and crap on the screen, but you could still make it out and figure out who won. Double Dribble, an amazing game, great memories. I love both of those games.
All right, I'll go ahead next. I think Mike's still looking over there. He's got his
No, I got mine.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah.
You want to go?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Listeners, if you don't know what song that is, my favorite Konami game of all time is Blades of Steel. Arguably, oh my goodness, arguably one of the best hockey games of all time. Little behind the scenes, little of Mike and Justin growing up here. Justin and I used to duke it out in high school and college in Blades of Steel, and I used to destroy him until I taught him how to control the goalie, and I shouldn't have done that because I used to win every time. So yes, Blades of Steel, and then I was a kid when it came out, and I never beat it just because I was a kid and games were so hard back then. But quick shout out to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time. So,
oh yes,
okay.
yes. But yeah, go ahead, Justin.
Blades of Steel, phenomenal choice. Likewise with Double Dribble, great game as well. I'm going to do a shout out to our last week guest, Brian, the Cadaver Man. He mentioned Silent Hill, and one of my favorite franchises. Silent Hill 2 is my pick for my favorite Konami game. It's my all-time favorite horror video game of all time. It's you star as a man who lost his wife, and you get a letter from your late wife that says she's waiting for you in Silent Hill, pretty much.
I'm surprised you didn't say Metal Gear Solid, Cicero.
No.
Well, because I wasn't sure if you were gonna go MGS or if you were gonna go Blades of Steel. I was pretty sure you'd go Blades of Steel. I think everyone thought I would go MGS, but the two games I mentioned, they needed love.
Okay.
Yeah. And Konami was low key EA Sports before EA Sports.
Yeah, they had a lot of
Right?
content.
Like
Mhm.
they
sure.
were
Yeah.
like if you didn't have a Konami sports title, Konami and then Tecmo, right? Because Tecmo football, Tecmo Super Bowl.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
incredible.
like thinking about Blades of Steel, you have that up against the ice hockey NES game, and
Right.
Blades of Steel just destroyed that
Oh,
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not even. It's
Yeah.
not even the same.
It's not even
same
competition. You
Right.
could fight in Blades of Steel.
Yep.
With the help button.
And they talked, just like Double Dribble, they talked in Blades of Steel, and
Yeah.
they talked in Double Dribble, and they didn't talk in ice hockey. And everyone
Yeah.
kind of looked like Mario in ice hockey. So
They did.
Alright.
They did.
Let's keep it moving. We're gonna go right into what have you been playing. We'll start with Mike this time. What have you been playing this week?
I'm gonna hold off one game because I think we're going to talk about it in the news. So, Forza Horizon 4 or 5, sorry. That's literally all I've been playing.
Worst game.
Besides the other game that we'll talk about. Forza Horizon 5 is so dang good. Like, Forza Horizon 4 was really good too, and so was 3. It's just been a really, really good driving game. I've heard some arguments it's not even a racing game; it's a driving game. But I've just been having a blast. I got the new TV. I got it's just looking pretty and prettier everywhere I go in it. Mexico is amazing. Just I've been playing Forza Horizon 5 for the most part. It's such a blast, man. Like me and Justin were playing the other night. We were just having so much fun, and I love it so much. Like, man. All right, cool.
If you had to scale it on a 1 to 10 for Forza, what would you put it at?
So I think mechanically, visually, and stuff like that, it's a 10 out of 10. But for me personally, like I would bring it down to like the 9.5 area. The reason being is because I've realized more and more that just when the map is so filled with so many things to do, it's not that I get overwhelmed. It's just like I just don't foresee me having time to do everything. And so I think it's so packed, almost too packed with things to do. But yeah,
I hear you there. At least they have a legend in that one. I'll talk about my legend problems later on. Cicero, go ahead.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time this week playing sports ball. Back into MLB The Show.
Nice.
Playing. I was just doing some Sunday hockey in Chell and NHL 22. So me and my team, the graveyard shift, we were playing some hockey together against other real teams, and that it's still awesome. Even though we went like 1-1-2 or something like that.
Yeah.
But like let's see. Madden football still doing connected franchise with my boy. And then let's see, another game that we'll hold off from talking about. I also downloaded Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy on the recommendation. I wanted to play it anyway, but I was it was impressed upon me that I needed to move it up into my queue of games to play by our good friend of the show, and my brother Sharif Jackson, who said that you need to play
love that
it now.
guy.
Yeah, you need to play it now, and so I did. I bought it and went to start playing it. I had really, really bad load times on the PC. I think that's unique to my setup. I've got to figure that part out, but the load times were really bad. They were so bad that I thought about returning the game on Steam and just buying it on console and playing it there.
Okay.
I'm surprised you didn't buy it on your Series X regardless.
Yeah, you're talking like GTA 5 Xbox 360 load times?
Yeah, I'm talking Yes, maybe even worse, right? Like they
Ooh.
were
Wow.
they were really
Wow.
bad. They were really bad. Like they were so bad that I thought something was wrong. But you know, I may have that may be completely a me thing and not have anything to do with the game. So don't take
Okay.
my experience as an indication of anything. What you should take, I didn't get a lot of time. I got maybe 30, 40 minutes to play it. So no time in the scheme of things, but it made one heck of a great impression when I was actually playing the game. Um,
Yeah.
the banter between the characters was incredible. It felt like the movie. It had the same level of humor. You really started to feel it, that. So the Guardians have just kind of gotten together as the full team. Is they're maybe together 2 or 3 months at
Mhm.
the time we enter into the game. So it's probably well before events in any of the movies that we've seen the Guardians in, but it feels evocative of that same level of chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm really, it's making a great first impression on me, and it looks incredible. It looks so very good. So I can't wait to get into playing that game. And of course, I'm playing Forza, right? Why wouldn't I be? I've been talking about it. I love this series. I think the game is great. I've discovered all the roads. It is a driving simulator. Forza Horizon. The Forza Horizon series has always kind of been that thing for me. One of my favorite gaming memories is having the steering wheel set up for the Xbox 360 and playing Test Drive Unlimited, TDU, and just
Oh
having
yeah.
my Sunday drive time, right? Where I
Mhm.
would just sit and I would just drive and I'd meet up with people
Mm-hmm.
and we would sit and we talk and we, have like car club crap that we would do on the island of Oahu. And then we just drive around and I would just literally have Sunday drives in my living room. And Forza has always been a thing that I could do that, kind of experience that again in. But what makes Forza Horizon 5 so great is the biodiversity, right? Because I can feel like, oh,
Yeah.
I can do that in the jungle. I can do it up in the
Yeah.
volcanoes. I can do it on sand dunes.
Yeah.
Like, all of that is there. And yeah, there's a lot of crap, is crammed into the game. But you can use the filters, right? I encourage you to like not just leave the car stock, right? Customize the car, make it your own, play the game the way that you want to play it. And that's the thing. Like there is a lot of stuff in there, but it's like Minecraft, right? Like this game is Minecraft, but you
Mm-hmm.
drive, right?
Yeah.
And there's no way to tell somebody that they're playing this game wrong,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do, and yeah, they're gonna keep throwing more stuff at you, but that just means that you'll always have something to do when you go to play this game.
Yeah.
And that's super cool. And if
Mhm.
the things, the other things that are there don't interest you, don't do them.
So would you put it at the near perfect, just like Mike did, or?
Yeah. So the problem, I said this last week, the problem with Forza Horizon is they've set the bar so high for themselves
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
that it, like it's almost like other games are competing against other games, but Forza Horizon 5 is competing against itself,
Yeah.
right? And against its franchise. And so because there's not like there are big leaps that are made in this game, but it's not markedly, like it's not a dramatic shift in what the game
Mhm.
is from Forza
Yeah.
Horizon 4. So I in some ways, like I could understand if somebody calls the changes in the game or the game itself kind of unremarkable, right?
Okay.
Because it can only meet the expectations because your expectations are so high. It's almost impossible for it to exceed those expectations. So
Yeah.
for a lot of people, I think they they won't give this the laud, it won't give it the lauding that it truly deserves.
Yeah.
Because it objectively is one of the best games of this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Objectively is one of the best games of this year. But I think people will have to fight for it because people had already expected it to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I hear you there. They are definitely fighting with themselves, trying to make it better every year when that bar is so high already.
Right.
Like Dirt is the only real competitor in that genre, and they wish they could do what Forza is doing.
Right.
They really do.
Right. Now what Dirt does for rally racing, Forza doesn't do. Right? Like it does what it does better than Forza does, but that's really nerdy. And like you've got to be a rally nerd.
It's a specific niche.
Right. But
when Forza has a bunch of niches combined.
Right. Like you can be a rally fan and love the rally car racing that you get in Forza.
Yeah.
And not, but if you're a rally nerd, you go and you play Dirt. But if you like cars in general, Forza Horizon is just whoa. Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, that's a gif or a sound bite that everybody wants to hear is.
Mm-hmm.
As goes for me, I played Far Cry 6. I finished it. I loved every minute. I did not 100% it. I got to 94. That was the furthest I got, and then I put it down because GTA came out and also Forza came out. And I made the huge mistake of booting Forza up first. And then I put it down. I played for an hour, enjoyed the sight and the visual presence of this game, this visual showcase that it is. It's beautiful.
And then he told me he uninstalled it.
And then I was very mad because I went back and I booted up San Andreas because that was the plan to 100% San Andreas next.
Right.
And coming from something so beautiful to go back in time to this visual not showcase.
Right.
It was tough.
But the funny thing is that it actually looks better than you remember.
Well, yes, that is true. I agree with that. And they did move it up a little bit. But coming from Forza, it's very difficult visually to accept something like this. And I put it down and went back to Forza, and I will pick it up and I will do it because I checked the achievement list and I know there's the 100% achievement there waiting for me, and I know it's going to happen. I've been playing Forza a lot. Haven't put it down since I picked it back up, and I agree. It is a phenomenal title. I'd put it up there at probably about a 9.4. I wouldn't put it up to the 9.5, just mainly because of some connection issues that I've been having.
Connection issues. I think those will get fixed though.
I do believe so. They're working on fixes for it as well.
I don't hold that against them because like it's such a good game regardless. Like it's just like even playing solo is just fine. Like it's great. It's so good.
For me, Forza has always been a co-op experience, as like Halo for me as well, and I enjoy going around with my crew.
No, I hear you.
That's just how I've always enjoyed Forza, like the Horizons anyway. And God, this game is so pretty. I can't look away. If you look away, you miss something even prettier than the last thing. And enjoying collecting cars. It's just another collection for me to keep going at. I think there's 530 something cars in the game as of now.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure there will be more. But I'm enjoying it. I've unlocked most of the map. I've been doing a lot of the races. And like Cicero said, if you like a certain type of thing, you can do all of those things. And then you can customize those things on top of it with the custom creation. So it's like you always have more content in your niche. And when I opened the map for the first time, because me, I paid for the $2.75, unlock all the secrets in the game on the map. that was a lot of stuff on the map because it shows all the little tiny banners and the billboards and everything. But you just click a button and you can filter everything. Right. And that's something that Far Cry was missing. And I'm very upset that Far Cry didn't have it. That was my one big gripe with Far Cry 6 is there's no legend on the map. You can't filter the map to show what you want to go for because I'm going for 100% and I see all this stuff that I already did. Tough.
Right.
But with Forza, you can make it down to, oh, I just want to see players that are online. You can take everything else off the map.
Yeah.
It's nice. And I'm enjoying every moment. So I give it a 9.4 just because of the connection things that I've been kind of like popping in and popping out of games and driving up to my buddy and he disappears. And I'm like,
so
I'm sure you witnessed
it. Was
if the connection stuff goes away, where would you put it?
I would put it at the top of the Forza list for me. Okay. I would put it near perfect.
All right. So
I would even consider it a Game of the Year contender.
Oh, I think it's Game of the Year contender no matter what. So it was actually funny, just really quick, because I know we got to get to the news, but me and Justin Friday night were doing that drag strip at the bottom left of the map to go into the jump.
Yes.
And he was in his DeLorean and he tuned it up to, go 250 miles per hour. Right. And so I'm in just one of my regular stock cars, the fastest one I got. And I start going and he speeds past me. And because of the connection issues, I kid you not, he disappears as if he goes back in time. Like he's in Back to the Future, and it was the funniest thing.
When you said that, I was like, "We're going too fast, Marty."
It was just so funny. Anyway,
are you guys playing in performance mode or are you in,
quality?
We're both quality because it's supposed to be a visual showcase, and both Mike and I agree that racing this kind of game doesn't really need the 60. It doesn't for what it's for. You don't need the 60.
I've only done it in performance. I have not done it in quality.
Really?
Yeah.
I would. You have that LG. I would try that quality.
Give it 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You won't go back.
All right.
You won't see a difference.
For me and Justin were having this conversation Friday night as well. Like the time that Turn 10 has taken on the next Forza Motorsport. In my opinion, there is no excuse that game can't be 4K 120 hertz. With the time that they are taking to develop it, I believe there is no excuse that it cannot run 4K 120 hertz. Sure. I think they need it. So
yeah. Agreed. Well, I mean, like in order to legitimize a reason for Forza Motorsports to continue to exist.
Yeah,
right? It's got to up the ante.
Well, and it will exist because I do believe that Sony people are gonna, balk at this, but I think the regular Forza Motorsport has taken over the Gran Turismo spot for simulator. Just because Gran Turismo hasn't been released, they haven't been released in a long time. So, and just like. Man, we'll see if it comes out 4K 120. We'll see.
I really think that Gran Turismo had the ultimate simulation aspect to it.
Yeah.
It felt the most simulation type racing game that I've ever played. Down to the horsepowers and down to the Forza has picked up the ball on that court, but I don't think it's at the same level. And I think if Gran Turismo were to make a comeback right now, and Sony were to put that out on the PS5.
Well, I mean, next year we'll see.
Yeah,
comes out early next year.
March.
It's gonna be tough. All right, let's go into the news, guys.
News.
So, Battlefield 2042 came out.
Yeah.
Right. Considered a hot mess with all the bugs, the glitches, connection problems. Some people aren't even able to play the game except for a couple maps. But it's still keeping players. What do you guys think? Why do you think that is? Cicero, go ahead.
Well, because I think those problems aren't universal, and let's be clear, right? So we're in early access of Battlefield 2042. So this is people who have EA access on Xbox Game, via Xbox Game Pass, or on PC on EA access for PC. So these people are playing. They've got early access, or they've pre-ordered one of the bigger bundles, the $90 bundle or the $120 bundle, to play the game early. So we're not talking about the general public, and we're talking about a bunch of people that are very enthusiastic about this game, and a sizable amount of people for EA to salivate over. And I think it's natural that it's going to have server problems dealing with the load going from essentially zero to very much not zero. But it's also,
very much not zero.
right. But also, this is part of the thing that I was talking about after the beta, right?
Yeah, I remember you saying
sure,
something.
I wasn't sure if this game was ready, but I've played it and I haven't had any problems. And it looks incredible, and I can't wait to like actually really get my hands dirty in the game. But I expect that the first 2 weeks are gonna be hit or miss. But like I think that's fair to expect. Honestly, I'm kind of pessimistic on this game being like okay. I don't think the game will be ready to go until December, right? Like I think it's going to take 3 or 4 weeks before a lot of the like online hiccups are like completely in the rear view for this title. Just those types of bug fixes, they take time, and when people are working from home in this COVID world, it takes even more time. So I think you gotta kind of extend your thought process in terms of how long it will take for these things to be triaged. But I'm not terribly worried, all things considered, that this will be a problem going forward. For a long period of time. Although 11 months ago, I said the same thing about Cyberpunk 2077. So, just saying.
And all those upgrades are delayed. How about me? I got 3 words: Call of Duty. The reason why people are sticking with Battlefield is because Call of Duty is just not doing good. Not only does it have the Activision lawsuit kind of like over its head a little bit, but like the COD community is just so split on Vanguard that they're looking for another area to put their time in. And I think Battlefield, although I agree with Cicero that maybe it should have been delayed, I still think that it came out in a perfect timing, just because of the fact that the COD community is so split on Vanguard. And just, I mean, sales in the UK for COD, I was reading, are down 54%.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
and that's insane.
Wow.
And it's not only, and the crazy thing about it is that it's not only because it's gone back to World War II. You got the Activision lawsuit. You got the fact that it is back to World War II. And you got the fact that Call of Duty is Call of Duty is in a development state right now where not every game feels different. And whereas you go 5 years ago or something like that, it did feel different. I mean, you had a boots on the ground followed by an advanced movement COD.
Back then they had 3 different studios working.
Yes.
every
and
year.
now
And that was a
and
great
now
concept. I love that.
exactly, now they still have 3 developers, but
They're all
but
using the
but
same
they're
asset.
all using the same, they're all using the same, and the reason is Warzone. Everything has to filter into Warzone now.
Right.
Because Warzone is Activision's big money builder for sure.
Right.
And so honestly, I know that was a huge tangent to the actual question, but I think that tangent was viable to my answer, is that like people are looking for a not COD game. And trust me, that like Halo is going to be big this year. You guys, Halo is going to be huge this year because these games are not doing, I mean, 2042, I think Cicero was right. Give it a couple weeks, but like in a couple weeks after it releases, so is Halo. So like,
Right. But you're gonna have to give Halo
in
a couple weeks. Also.
Yeah.
Right. You're gonna have to give Halo a couple of weeks also.
Well, we'll see.
Right. So like,
yeah, we'll see.
that's I mean the thing about Halo is Halo's gonna be free to play.
Yeah.
So
Multiplayer wise,
yeah. I mean, but that's gonna be the thing that compares, is the most apples to apples comparison to Battlefield 2042.
For sure.
All right, on to our next topic. The GTA Remastered Collection, the game we've been not wanting to talk about during our What Have We Been Playing, is getting a lot of visual hate based on how it looks. Do you agree or disagree with that?
So I will agree and disagree. The rain in GTA 3 is absolutely abysmal. If you are listening to this, I suggest turning off motion blur, and that helped me out a little bit. And by a little bit, I stress that a lot. Like if it is raining and it is dark, you are almost legally blind. Like it is so bad. Now with that being said, I had very low expectations for this. Like Rockstar's not going to go all out. This is not going to be a remake. This is going to be just a remaster. And I'm playing a game that I have very fond memories of. And they up-resed it, and they made the protagonist, antagonist, however you want to describe him, in GTA 3 actually have a face. And I'm happy with it. And I'm reliving memories, and I'm okay with it. I do refuse to listen to that discourse about people being disappointed about it. I don't care because I'm having a good time.
Okay. Cicero?
Yeah, look, when did GTA 3 release? Right?
Like, a long time ago. Don't make us feel old. Don't make us feel old, Cicero.
Right? I think it was 2001, right?
Yeah. So that was 01. Vice City was what? 04?
Oh, it was 01. I was right.
That was a long time ago.
Spot on. Vice City was 02, and San Andreas was 04. So the oldest of these games is 17 years old. Right? Like they made a 17-year-old game look better. I mean, if you're not doing a complete restoration, right, or a remaster, and all you're doing is making a definitive, more definitive edition, you're making them look a little bit better. Hey, that's fine, right? Like this is what I'd expect it to look. I was impressed with how much better it looked than how it looked in the past. But what I've been hearing, it feels like I'm swapping these stories, right? Our news stories, because I just watched 30 minutes of an hour-long bug video. It was just a compilation of bugs in the definitive edition, right? It's an hour long. The game's been out based on this recording barely 72 hours, right? I've already got an hour-long compilation video of hilarious, but frustrating bugs if you're a consumer, right? Like If that was your game, you spent $60, you had been waiting for this game, you go to sit down and play it, and now your car just spins around in the air
I
and
think
winds
this
up
video
4 miles away and explodes out of nothing. Like, that's frustrating. And you
Yeah.
fail a mission. It's hilarious at first, but if it keeps happening, it's like agita inducing. So I'm really surprised and kind of dismayed at the level of bugs that we're seeing with this game.
Yeah.
Considering that the newest of these games is 17 years old. You would have thought that they would have had the time to test a lot of things. Rumor has it that they left the hot coffee mod in the game, so PC players were able to.
Nope,
Right.
Nope. Nope.
So, but
Let's get into that one.
Yeah, but then they also but then they also left music from.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, they left music that had been licensed. They just, instead of removing that music from the game, they just like commented it out in the code. And so players were able to uncomment it and play this music that Rockstar doesn't have a license for anymore.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of lazy coding that happened.
With the money that they are making, I don't see why they have these problems.
Yeah, so like it really, that's the part that's most disappointing to me, is it feels like there was a big rush job in trying to get something out and not worry about making sure that thing that they got out was good and ready to go.
No, and I'm with you on that front. Like, it's like you just expect more from Rockstar, right? But like for me, I'm just talking about, like, especially on Twitter, like being on Twitter, like I have to block out these things because I'm enjoying my time with GTA 3. Like, I'm enjoying my time.
Okay, well, that's
and
good.
so I'm just not going to. I'm not going to listen to that side of things, although they might be correct. I'm just not going to listen to it because I'm enjoying my time. I'm happy. Sure. Right. I might run into these bugs too, and then I won't be enjoying my time. Whatever.
No, I agree completely, Mike. The time that I did spend playing San Andreas, I enjoyed. It was just the jump in visual spectacle that got me pulled away, and that's just modern gaming for you. You see something so gorgeous, you're gonna go towards it. You're gonna gravitate. So but
I mean, Forza Horizon will do that for you.
Nostalgia feels throughout the entire opening sequence and CJ and everything. I love it.
I mean, I'm playing GTA 3 and I remember where the Banshee is. I remember the streets that I'm going on. Like, I remember these things, and it just brings back so many memories. And so that's why I'm having a good time with it. That's why I'm just going to live in my nostalgia right now.
Sure.
I don't care about your bugs because I'm having fun.
I'll be interested to see what the sales figures are.
Well, I mean, they delisted it on PC, so
yeah. Well, they had to, right?
Yeah.
But I'm sure they'll fix that. Real quick.
Well, they also like they're bringing strikes down on modders too. So like, I don't know, Rockstar's not looking too good right now. But they'll probably give you a bunch of money in GTA Online and then make it all right.
All right, you guys ready?
Yes.
That ends our news segment.
I don't know. I don't think I'm ready.
Well, Cicero's going to kick your butt then. All right. It's time for Test Your Might. First up, Fortnite. I know, a game we all play, right? No.
I hate.
They're getting one of my favorite characters from the Star Wars universe, Boba Fett, next month. So if you had a chance to add a movie or TV character to a game, what game would it be? And why would it be better than your opponents? We'll start off with Cicero today.
So Mike, it's been a while. You're not ready, so you're gonna go first.
Oh, you don't think I'm ready, huh?
Remember, Bring the curiosity.
Yes.
You sure you wanted me? You sure you wanted to say that? All right. So I'm a huge fan of martial arts. Huge fan of like martial arts movies, TV shows. Cicero, you brought me on to Warrior. Like Warrior is a class A TV show. Subscribe to HBO Max. Watch it now. But yeah, Warrior is an original story by Bruce Lee. That didn't get greenlit for a while until Cinemax brought it. And obviously, it was Bruce Lee's estate who has the rights to the show. And so we're talking Bruce Lee, and you want me to bring the Furiosity or whatever that word is?
Yes.
We're going with Chen Zhen from Fist of Fury, which is furious. I'm so sorry. That we're bringing him into Sleeping Dogs. So Sleeping Dogs is Sleeping Dogs is one of my favorite open world games. I played a bunch of it, didn't get a chance to beat it, but overall, what's really cool about Sleeping Dogs, it has a really in-depth and awesome martial arts system. And so to bring a Bruce Lee character into that game would be awesome. It would be a cool experience to see just a martial arts legend in a video game, and you can give him a skill tree. Like you can bring him on up through the martial arts skills and grow him in that, all the while participating in these which Bruce Lee did in a lot of his movies, in a lot of his films, participating in these like gang wars, gang fights and stuff like that. And I'm going to stick with Sleeping Dogs, but I believe it could translate to like Yakuza as well. Like you could bring Bruce Lee into Yakuza too, but Sleeping Dogs is the one that I've actually played. So we'll stick with that. I believe it has a really cool skill tree and martial arts system, and Bruce Lee would be good for that. Chen Zhen from Fist of Fury. How's that for Furiosity?
All right.
Ooh, wow.
We got it over here. Cicero, what you got to top that?
Well, that was furious. It was curious, actually. But I'm gonna
Curious.
Yes.
Like a cat.
I'm gonna talk about something that's near and dear to our hearts. Since we've been playing Forza Horizon 5 and driving around, I'm gonna talk about the movie series or the video game series, Driver. Right? Okay. We know that series. Great driving series. Has turned into a lot of things, but one thing that it hasn't been able to turn into is a heist game, but it will when we add Eleanor from Gone in 30 seconds, Gone in 60 seconds.
Yeah, I've got you. Gone in 60 seconds.
It'll be gone in 30 seconds.
The Shelby.
Yes, the Shelby Cobra, Eleanor, into Gone in 60 seconds.
Into Forza?
No, into Driver.
Into Driver.
Driver, the video game Driver. You're going to be a driver getting Eleanor.
Ooh.
And more of those cars, yeah.
Okay. Mike, what you got on that? Does you think Bruce Lee's better?
Than a car? Yeah.
Hey, don't disrespect Eleanor. She'll remember that.
This is, you said a movie and TV character.
Eleanor is a character, just like Baby is in Supernatural. Continue.
I disagree. It's an inanimate object. The only character that is actually, you could talk about Knight Rider. You could have brought that in. That car has a voice.
Eleanor talks back to Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
Based on his actions, she talks back.
Yeah. Not like an actual voice.
Oh.
Mike, have you seen Gone in 60 Seconds?
It's not an actual voice, is it?
Have you seen the movie?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
He
okay.
kno-
All
okay,
right,
I'll
all
give you an
right, all right.
example. He knocks off one of the side mirrors and she shuts down out of anger towards him.
Yep.
She responds to his actions. It's a character.
Yeah.
Fight it. Bruce Lee's
It's
better.
an
house dog.
inanimate object.
Why would Bruce Lee be a better addition to Sleeping Dogs?
Well, because Bruce Lee can just slide on the hood of Eleanor into an action scene and just slide on the hood right across and just punch a dude right in the face and then roundhouse kick. Yeah, we're bringing Chuck Norris in too. Chuck Norris was in a Bruce Lee movie, by the way. Anyway, no. I just think all of Bruce Lee's characters kind of have this experience of what the game Sleeping Dogs is. Like your main character is kind of brought into this family, this group, this kind of like organization to complete missions around the open world. And there are so many movies that Bruce Lee is actually doing that. Like I remember like the times where like I mean you even could think of his big blockbuster like Enter the Dragon. Like he was brought into this fighting tournament, and then but like he's also like trying to solve a mystery and actually save people, right? And so like I just think Bruce Lee would be a phenomenal add to what is such a martial arts heavy focused open world game, because his characters overall in movies fits the aesthetic of Sleeping Dogs. Like it's all hand-to-hand combat. You have some weapons. You have some weapons every once in a while, but for the most part, you're fighting, and you're solving problems in the open world, just like Bruce Lee has done in all of his movies. So,
Okay, rebuttal over there for me, yeah, Cicero.
So that's fine, right? Like he has done a great job of articulating why a martial arts game should have the martial artist that inspired the martial arts in the game. Great job, right? The Driver series was inspired by television shows from the 70s and great movies like Bullet, right? The spiritual successor to the Steve McQueen classic Bullet is Gone in 60 Seconds. We can now marry those two things together as opposed to just adding a thing to a thing that was inspired by the thing. We can get two things that were inspired by one thing and get them to get together. Right?
Follow.
We join those two things together and we find out what happens when those two inspirations, those two things that were inspired by the same thing get together. If you have siblings, right? You sitting here, you're listening to this, you're watching this. If you have a sibling, you know that you and your sibling, your full-blooded siblings, you and your sibling came from the same mother and father. But you guys can be the same, but different. And when you guys attack a problem, you come to it from different spaces because you're the same, but different. And that's what Driver and Gone in 60 Seconds would be, the prize of the driver now being a person who's responsible for collecting these cards, just like Memphis Reigns was in Gone in 60 Seconds, is to get Eleanor. And at the end, you've got Eleanor and you've got to escape.
Okay. All right. I'm going to call it because Cicero. So we've got Cicero saying that yours is pretty much a skin of Bruce Lee on the Sleeping Dog's face. And Cicero's marrying two things together to make a nice Driver Bullet baby.
Yes.
Gotcha. I'm gonna have to go with. I think I'm gonna leave Eleanor in the garage on this one.
Oh
and
man,
she's gonna be the one that got away. Unfortunately, as much as I love the movie, I think that Bruce Lee would fit very well into the Sleeping Dogs universe and unique storyline, or however you want to do it. He would fit well into that motif, and I think that would do good. Also,
I'm surprised I won that. He brought up a Nicolas Cage movie that is Justin's favorite actor. Get in the cage.
That's one for Mike.
Yes.
How am I not in that movie?
Like I said, Cicero tugs at the heartstrings. Like he knew that I loved that movie, but it didn't turn out.
Well, did he know?
She was the one that got away, unfortunately.
It just happened to be organic.
She is a character, Mike. Just saying.
Yes,
all right.
Yeah, definitely.
I have not watched that movie, so forgive me.
Yeah.
You must. Phenomenal.
I thought you were going to bring up Kirby or the bug.
Oh, Herbie?
Yeah.
Oh, Herbie Lovebug. Oh, yeah.
That's in Forza already. So, with skins. So we've got Halo Infinite rumors happening again. Big ones that kind of leaked a lot today, actually. And it's about tomorrow.
Past couple days.
Fans are dead set on saying it's coming out tomorrow during the announcement. I went as far as to look on the Xbox itself, and they did remove the release date on Halo Infinite on the Xbox. It's just a blank space now, which is interesting. I don't know why that would happen. But if Halo isn't a big announcement happening tomorrow, what else could be bigger? What would take its place? And Mike, you won this one, and I'm going to go ahead and give it to Cicero, unfortunately, this time.
Have fun taking my answer.
You know what? Go ahead and give your answer, Mike.
So nice.
Okay. So they have already announced. Again, I'm going to bring in a little bit of plausibility.
Okay.
Because
you might lose the argument. I'm just saying.
Who knows? Whatever. They have already announced that they're not announcing any new games. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say that tomorrow they will announce that Fable from Playground Games is next year.
Okay. All right. Let's stop you there. Let's go ahead and stop you there. Cicero, go ahead. What you got?
Well, since we're not talking Halo games and we're not talking I think what we're going to hear is that the Dragon game is back. What was the name of that stupid game?
Should I help him or no?
The Dragon game.
Yeah.
No, he's got to come up with it.
Yeah, I've got to come up with the name of that game. Oh crap! What was it? Scalebound. Scalebound is back. Scalebound is back.
All right, Mike. Why is Fable bigger? Or is it bigger news?
I think it's bigger news because not only would it be a surprise to a lot of people, because of the fact that, they just did like a CG trailer and stuff like that. And this game is not, I wouldn't say rumored, but speculated that it's very, very far away, just because of the CG trailer. But let me bring a little bit more logic into this argument. Playground just recently announced that they have actually been working on Fable for 4 years already. So it's already hit a fourth year in its development cycle. And I am extremely confident in Playground Games' ability, especially after Forza Horizon 5, to crank out an open world that is extremely diverse, extremely populated, and extremely welcoming and all of the above, to create this Fable game within even that 4 years. And not to mention their writing ability, their position as in Britain, who understands the humor and the stuff that actually goes into Fable. I think they're closer than we expect with the news that they've already been developing it for 4 years. So I think that would be the biggest and the most surprising announcement if Halo's not released tomorrow.
All right, Mike's got high praise for Playground Games. Cicero, how are you going to knock that down with your Scalebound?
Well, the fact is, Microsoft needs to be able to have a new IP without announcing a new game. And while Fable definitely is a revitalized series that would generate excitement, Scalebound is something new, right? Something that no one's ever played before. And they were trying to generate excitement for it. Things kind of fell apart. They've got all of these studios that are around that are doing work. And here's this IP that they can actually build something off of that's new and exciting and can bring and generate like new hope to different like avenues and genres and play styles and just new play techniques. And they can bring that now with something totally brand new, blowing everyone's expectations out of the water with a completely remade Scalebound game.
Okay, Mike, rebuttal. Defend your own or fight back?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Scalebound would just you have an already established company with Platinum Game or Playground Games. Sorry, that is absolutely just knocking it out of the park right now. Where you have Microsoft, who does own the intellectual property rights for Scalebound, but Platinum Games was the team that was executing that vision. And they're busy with Bayonetta 3. They're busy with some other things as well. Like I don't know if Scalebound has the company behind it right now. And without any sense of like where that IP is, like as far as like, is it ever going to come back? Like, I just think that is kind of too illogical to announce something like that on the 20th anniversary versus announcing something such as Fable, which has been a staple franchise to the Xbox ecosystem, on the 20th anniversary celebration, as far as the game coming sooner. Like, I just think it fits a little bit more to the celebration that is supposed to be tomorrow.
Some strong words from Mike against Scalebound there. You got anything to defend?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're celebrating the 20th anniversary, right? And we don't have to always look back. We're going to be looking back. We're going to be talking about Forza Horizon. We're going to be talking about Halo upcoming. We're talking about Xbox Live, all of those things. You don't have to look back for all of it, right? It's also about the future. And so that's what Scalebound represents, is Microsoft and Xbox's future of new IP, new ideas. You take something that one group was trying to work on. We've got, Microsoft's got 70 billion different development houses now. They're gonna acquire Test Your Might next week. Like, we're gonna be working on a new game, right? So like that's what they have to show. Like, they can come out and say, hey, that was great. I'm glad that you guys remember those experiences and remember those feelings, as those experiences were new and you were experiencing those for the first time. Because with this title that we talked about before, you're going to get the opportunity to have new experiences with the Xbox for the first time. You can now have a new game to think about nostalgically with Scalebound.
Okay. All right, I'm going to call it there. You both are wrong. Banjo-Kazooie was the correct choice. But no, I think you both had very good points. A new title would be great, but not at the 20th anniversary, unfortunately. I think Mike was right with that when he said that rejuvenating that old flame inside of Xbox itself with Fable would be a huge announcement, thinking, even now we're all thinking it's going to be far, far in the distance. And if Playground Games were to come out with that and let us know it's coming next year or even sooner, that would be an interesting and pretty big announcement. That would
I wanted to argue the backwards compatible thing, like that they just come out and say every game is backwards compatible. Like,
that's a lot of coding.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll be looking forward to you guys calling me tomorrow to let me know that you apologize because I was right.
Woo! Well, we've got two more. You can still
Cicero, I love you, man, but you're on something if you think Scalebound is being said at all tomorrow.
I was close to picking Eleanor in the last one, but Scalebound, no. Sorry.
I actually came up with a better answer, but it was too late. I had already made it.
Okay. Both of you guys have been playing Forza Horizon 5. High praise, almost perfection.
That's high praise.
I want you to rack your brains here for a second and make this game perfect by adding something. What is this game missing? What is Forza Horizon 5 missing that would make it a 10 out of 10 in your mind? And Cicero, unfortunately, you lost again.
Yes.
Would you like to go first, or would you like to pass that torch to Mike again?
I'm gonna go first this time. Let's see if I can change my stars.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
This way, Mike can't steal my answer because I've already said it here, right? And the answer is making the game a live service and making it Forza Horizon Unlimited, and all of the locales become available to you at any given time.
It would be like a load into which section you want to be in, and your friends can join.
Right, exactly. Like you'd fly your fleet of cars to whatever.
Pretty much the whole entire show would go with you in the planes. I got you.
Correct.
All right, Mike, what you got?
So I hate this question because I have said it is a perfect game. And I don't want
your brains. You said 9.5. There's a 0.5 missing there.
No, the 9.5 was because I'm overwhelmed by all the things, but that doesn't mean it's not a perfect game. This game is all about the cars.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a driving game. And in order for that car to go, you need somebody behind the wheel. I think they should add characters, famous characters from movies, TV shows that drive a lot. So, like, for example, add Daniel Craig or something from James Bond. He drives a lot of those James Bond cars, whatever. I think that they should add a little bit more of that, like, to your drive-atar, so to speak. They add the cars. They've added the Hot Wheels DLC. They did Legos last year. What would be cool is that they give you some special characters to design your drive-atar after. So that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, Cicero, you've got the entire universe of Forza on your side, and Mike wants customizable character options with famous characters. What do you got?
So I've changed the name of the game. It's not Forza
already
Horizon. It's not Forza Horizon Infinite. It's Forza Horizon World.
Okay.
Right. That better denotes exactly what it is.
So the original name is Forspoken now.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Forspoken. But here's the thing with the game, right? That you some people have said, "Oh, I really love Forza Horizon 3. I love Forza Horizon 4, but I don't love the seasons. I wish I could do, or I do love the seasons. I wish I could do the Forza Horizon 4 seasons in Australia and not in the UK." Right? So so this would give you that option. Like this would give you the chance to do all of those things where you'd be able to have Denver and then Australia and the UK and Mexico and Spain, and like from the UK to Spain, maybe you could drive the tunnel or something like that. You could have the tunnel there. But like there's all these different options that you could do. All Mike wants to do is add skins for your avatar, not even your drivatar, it's your avatar, which they already allow you. Like you can have you could just be a torso with prosthetic limbs now, right? Multicolored prosthetic limbs. And my avatar's got an entire astronaut suit on with a helmet. He's got an old fishbowl helmet on. So like I don't need to be any more famous than that. I'm an MTV award. I'm the VMA. So like it doesn't need to be any more famous than that. What you need is the entire breadth, the entire diversity of all of the games that have come before it and the games that can come in the future. So now I've got one place to play all of the Forza all of the time.
Right. Mike, you wanna knock them down a few pegs?
I think it's a really cool premise that you are doing, but I mean, Playground's busy with Fable, man. They're not going to be doing this at all. But what they could do is add skins. I turn the camera around and I see inside the car, and what they've done really good is that they've like my face actually renders and stuff like that, so I think it would be awesome to have those types of skins. Like consider you're driving like a Formula One car or something like that, or something that looks like NASCAR, and you turn your camera around and you just see Ricky Bobby just like staring at you. Like that's just fun. That what really makes Forza Horizon so good is that it is a driving game that somehow brings people to it that hate racing games. Like people that do not play racing games at all play Forza Horizon because of its accessibility and its fun nature to it. It's not taking itself serious. It is just about living and driving in this sandbox, in this open world. What can make that more awesome is these just lay people fans that are coming to play this game, and yet they're driving as one of their favorite characters in movie and television history. Like again, I throw the James Bond to you. I throw Ricky Bobby into you. I throw even Speed Racer to you. Like there are so many things that you could do to add just a little bit more customizability. That's not a word. Customization. There you go.
You did it.
Customization to your experience. You want to drive as James Bond in an Aston Martin? You drive as James Bond in an Aston Martin. Like that to me is the ultimate experience to bring to this.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call it there. I've already made a decision.
Oh, okay.
Mike, you had very good points when it comes to customization or customizing.
Customizability.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with Cicero on this one. I personally am in a full chicken suit, so I understand he's got MTV and I'm a giant chicken. And honestly,
but you
right
could be a giant duck if they
That's
bring in
true.
other skins.
But you see, the difference is you were right when you said this game's about the cars.
Yes.
So yes, bring the cars,
Right.
but no one's looking in their rearview mirror or the camera to look at their character model. The only time you see that is after a race and you're celebrating. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go with Cicero on.
Could be celebrating as Ricky Bobby.
I've heard
Shake and
many
bake.
people say that Forza Horizon 3 is their favorite, and if they were able to play that world in this game, that would bring a lot of people in, and that would be a near perfect game, or near perfect service in that case. So that's a Cicero win there. Are you guys ready for the blind quick attack?
I agree with Cicero, by the way.
Good.
It was a good choice because, like I've already said, Forza Horizon 5 is perfect.
Now, if viewers and listeners don't know, blind quick attack is a question that either I have created or have been given, and our contestants here will have a minute to choose their decision and tell us why, and then they'll get 30 seconds for a rebuttal each and 30 seconds for closing arguments, and it's all timed on screen for you guys. So they do not know this question, and this question was given to me by a dear friend all the way over where they live. Jelly gave me this question.
Oh,
He's not here today, but out to you, Jelly.
right.
We got, keeping with the racing theme, because we were just talking about Forza, and earlier we were talking about Forza. Jelly says, classic American muscle or supercar? What is the better all-around choice? And also, you need to pick one showcase car. So, Mike, you lost. So you get to choose first. Remember,
okay, these blind quick attacks have not been video game related recently. Like, seriously.
Hey, no, this is
mine was
Forza
Lara
related.
Croft and Nathan Drake, and both those are games. So
Yeah.
Just this one. We're talking about racing games, and these cars are in Forza.
No,
so,
I'm just talking about the Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger one.
Those were
that was a Halloween one. You got to have that.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So, are you saying something about Jelly's question?
I love Jelly. Yeah, I'm going first.
Oh, okay. You are.
You let me know whenever you start talking.
Everybody loves to live in their memories, and the all-American muscle is where it's at. I'm not a huge car person unless we're talking muscle cars. I love the old aesthetic to muscle cars. Like, it's just awesome. You're talking about my dream car is the Ford Mustang, 1965 Ford Mustang. That is just a beauty. You have people wanting these cars day in, day out because they want to restore them. They want to drive down. They want to drive down your street looking all awesome in that. And it's just also, I mean, if we're talking Forza Horizon 5, it's just super fun as well to drive around in these muscle cars. I know the sport cars might have better traction, but I like drifting around, whatever. Also, they're made of pure steel. If you crash, you're going to be safe, man. They don't give a darn.
All right. All right, Cicero, are you ready?
Could you read the question?
Of course.
Or at least, just the question part again.
Main question.
Yeah.
Classic muscle cars versus supercars. What are the better all-around choice?
Better all-around choice.
And also pick a showcase car, as Mike picked the Shelby or the...
The 1965 Ford Mustang.
Mm-hmm.
So, listen, I'm ready. And you're not, right? And that is, and that's because, like it's cool to have American muscle, but it's also cooler to care about pollution, right? Care about the earth, care about the skies and the climate. And that is why you choose this supercar. The greatest of supercars. And that is the Tesla Model S Plaid. 0 to 60 in 1.8 seconds with your groceries in the frunk. All electric, no noise, and just burning you off, living a quarter mile at a time.
Okay. All right, we got the Tesla Model S Plaid with the groceries in the frunk. Mike, you ready?
You're giving him a minute. You're giving him a minute.
He's got to breathe.
You're giving him a minute. That's
No,
cheating.
yeah, I need 30 seconds.
Yeah.
30 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Cicero's got me all flustered over here. All right, you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, Cicero has too much junk in his frunk. He doesn't know what he's talking about. My Ford Mustang will destroy his Tesla electronic vehicle. There's too much junk in that frunk. Anyway, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I think when you look at the old muscle cars, like just the aesthetics, the looks of it just look way better than any Tesla model I've ever seen.
Right before the buzzer, good stuff. All right, strong words against you and your junk in your frunk.
Well, here's the thing. We are sitting here in a world where I can take my kids to school and then I can go meet you on the drag strip. And if you want to meet my Tesla Model S Plaid with your 65 Mustang, you go right ahead. And guess what? You're going to lose. You're going to lose bad, sir. Right? And you're going to make a lot of noise while you're losing. And I'm going to be really quiet. And then I'm going to go pick up the kids and, put the car seat in the back. I'll beat you with a car seat.
All right. Beep, beep. Oh, a one-on-one match on a drag strip, Mike.
I might lose, but I'll be looking good doing it. Again, the Tesla models just don't look good. I mean, look at that Warthog that he's making, man. Like that stupid truck or whatever. It looks like a polygonal mess from the PlayStation 1 era. We're talking the Ford Mustang. Heck, I'll even throw in another model, 1965 Corvette Stingray. Like I'm just looking good, and I'm looking pretty doing it. Okay, like it doesn't even matter, man. Ford Mustang, muscle cars.
All right, closing arguments for you, Cicero.
Right.
He's looking better than you, apparently.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, the question was best all-around car, right? What can you fit in your Mustang or your Corvette? You, maybe another person, maybe, right? I can put 5 adults in my vehicle and go on a drag strip and beat you. And then go put groceries in the frunk. And I've got toys in the trunk. That's all around superiority and healthy for the environment.
All right. As much as I hate to say this, the Model S is going to win this argument for all around. Not just look, but it also looks very sleek, and it gets the job done in many different categories, not just looking good. And that's all you really defended, is looking good, and that's about it.
It's all around.
So we've got the 1 point over here. That is a tie game. So guess what? We get their Metacritic score game going on. We got 2-2 for the total match.
Uh-oh.
Man, I thought my junk in the frunk line was so good.
Yeah, you were sitting there, you thought of it, and you were like, "Oh yeah, hold on, let me tie a string around my finger for that one." Junk in your frunk.
Did you choose a game for this, Justin?
He's doing so now.
Well, yeah, I'm just
bringing it up.
I was just wondering if he chose one beforehand, so that I could look it up and win.
No, we're gonna have you write down your answers. That's the best way to do it. You guys got pens and pencils? Number
I got
two.
I got a phone that has a stylus.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I do. I
Oh,
also have
okay.
a phone that has a stylus, but it's off. Hold on. Let's.
All right, what's the game?
The game is going to be GTA 4.
GTA 4. Okay.
GTA 4.
GTA 4 Metacritic score. And what? How are we doing? Are we doing Price is Right rules?
Yes,
will
right.
do-
Yep.
We will do Price is Right rules. If the tablet would like to work properly.
I have my answer. Let's not have too much dead air. This is a radio show.
Right. Well done, sir. Well done, sir.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Go ahead and we'll reveal. Mike, go ahead with yours first, since you won the first two arguments.
84.
Okay.
Can you see 87? It is
87.
blurry, but it is there.
Okay. We're loading it up right now. We have a Metacritic score of 98
Whoa!
For
Yo.
GTA 4?
for GTA 4.
Wow. I was gonna go in the 90s, but I wasn't sure. Like I thought maybe time would have eroded that score a little bit. But wow,
Well,
98.
the closest score wins, and that will be Cicero for the win tonight.
Mike
Wow.
That's a
Mike-
crazy score right there.
Mike is looking at. He is in disbelief. You would have lost anyway, sir. There is no way that score would have eroded beyond 87. Your 84 was way too low.
That's crazy.
All right.
That's insane. I like
Yeah.
I
Mess
know
with the
I
bull, you'll get the horns, baby.
I know that IGN gave it 10 out of 10,
Yeah.
but like I didn't think that the Metacritic score would have been that high.
The Metacritic must play category.
Yeah, that's
All
interesting.
right. On to the leaderboard, guys.
Good job, Cicero. Good arguments. It was fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Likewise, sir.
I hate you, but no, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Hey everyone, so very sorry about this, but we did have some audio issues in the leaderboard section. So I'm just going to let you know what we were doing. So we for the leaderboard we did the top 5 DLC content ever released, and this had to be an extra charge. So like not free DLC, an extra charge DLC. So Justin came up with Shivering Isles from Oblivion, the Fallout New Vegas DLC content, the Treasure Hunt, I believe, and then Undead Nightmare from Red Dead Redemption, the original. Cicero came up with 2 GTA 4 paid DLC, the Lost in the Damned, as well as Ballad of Gay Tony, and then he stole mine. He came up with Hot Wheels DLC as well. From Forza Horizon 3. And so then I came back with the Lego DLC from Forza Horizon 4, and then just Mortal Kombat DLC fighters in general. I just thought they did a really good job with those. And then the Arkham City DLC, the Catwoman story, and all the skins and stuff too. So, and then our top 5, as always, is in no particular order. So we came up with The Lost and the Damned, Arkham City DLC, Fallout New Vegas DLC, Hot Wheels DLC, and Undead Nightmare. So that's our leaderboard. Sorry that we had some audio issues in there. It's all my fault. My water heater decided to go bonkers during that section, so that's why we had to cut it, and it was just too hard to edit out. So thank you for listening to this week's episode of Test Your Might. just a reminder, check out all of us on our socials at the 90s First. Yeah, we love to chat with you guys. So let us know what you think about the show. And thank you so much for listening. This is Mike. Hope you have a great rest of your week.